All right, got it. Okay, so it should be live on YouTube also right now. It's coming up. Let's see here. You should see the slate on YouTube now. All right. And you should be seeing that same slate on Facebook and on the other platforms. Okay, sorry about the late start. Now start the weather computer. All right, so the first thing you're going to see here is our live levee cam shots showing some nice high thin cloud cover, some blue sky. There it is. Come on. There it is right there. And no threatening rainfall. It looks like we are done with rainfall for the evening. So if you're about to head out the door and you just wanted to check the weather before you head out, I don't think we see any rain until, again, tomorrow in most locations. Here's a time lapse starting at 6:35 this morning. Not a bad looking morning. We got some showers right there, some more blue sky, a few more showers, some lower cloud cover. It was one of those days that looked just like summer days often look, like when you have high humidity and lots of air temperatures in the 80s. Speaking of airport temperatures, right now it is in the upper 80s in many locations. Some spots still recovering. Now don't worry, it's not 36 in Portsmouth. There's an error somewhere. As a meteorologist always knows, when you look at data and it doesn't seem right, it probably isn't. Heat index values, and see that big hole there it makes? It's like, oh my gosh, the heat index in Portsmouth is 32. Well, bad data. Something happened to the transmission or whatever, or there's an instrument failure, but it's not 32. No, the heat index is in Portsmouth. Okay, 98 in Lebanon is the heat index. It's 92 at CBG in Harrison. Lunken and Hamilton at 94, 93 in Middletown, Falmouth, and Madison. Batavia, you're at 94, but Batesville 94, that microclimate there in Lebanon creating that heat index that's way, way up there. And here is the future of our heat index values. It's going to climb. I think by Tuesday of next week, we'll see many areas in the low 100s, even more in the low 100s on Wednesday. When we go to beyond the 7-day here in a few minutes, you're going to see that we've got quite a little bit of a heat wave on the way. Now, here's the shower and thunderstorm activity we've been looking at. All right. Now, what you may see if you look at it closely off here to this part of the map, you can see some more shower and thunderstorm activity beginning to move our way. And we'll take a look at it and see what the model shows. I'm not particularly worried about it. So let's take, what happened? What did I do? Go back. Some days, no matter what you do, it doesn't work out. All right, so I'm going back. I'll start doing this manually rather than through a rundown. Right, I think. And then, okay, so let's now go to a wider version of the satellite radar loop, and there it is right there. Okay, look at all that lightning out there in northwestern Indiana, around south of Terre Haute, just crossing the Wabash River. That's this stuff, just crossing the Wabash River right here and all this. So let's, okay, where did my model go? I'm looking for a file. Give me 1 second here. Every once in a while, and I think I just have so many, as I've mentioned, it's like a sock drawer. I've had so many files in here that it just doesn't want to seem sometimes to be easy to find. All right, what did I do with that? Okay, I think it's this one up here. Okay, so let's see what happens here. I'm going to load. Yep, that's it. So, okay, we're going to transition now to the same scale here, but we're using model data. So this is the actual satellite radar loop here, and we are going to load some model data of the same thing, and you can see that it's very similar. Now, the models don't have the resolution that the radar and satellite does, but it's got this stuff, and look at even the stuff that's not far from Terre Haute. It's a little bit further north than actual, but this is a really good model result. It shows some heavy thunderstorms with those magenta cores, and it's got them in the right position. So my point is that we can pretty much trust this model to tell us what's going to happen. So what's going to happen to this rainfall? It's on its way eastward. Let's see if it makes it into the Fox 19 Now viewing area. Okay, so we put it into motion, and you see it just kind of dies out. You might see from Decatur County into Fayette and Union a shower or a brief light thunderstorm overnight, but what happens for the most part is it weakens, comes through, doesn't really do anything. There might be a clap of thunder in a few spots up in our northern counties, but by 7 a.m., it's looking dry for the beginning of your morning commute. As we continue through the morning, it does begin to show some shower activity developing, and by noon, essentially the northern half and a good portion of the eastern part of our viewing area has got some rain coming down. And as we head through the day, that rainfall becomes stronger. You see the magenta cores there, some of the thunderstorms, and it becomes centered for the afternoon and evening on our southern counties. So we may have some action tomorrow. And then we'll go through the same thing over the next several days. Now, here is, we always talk about the Storm Prediction Center and the risk of severe weather. Well, the Weather Prediction Center is another part of the National Weather Service, and they don't do winter storms and severe storms like the Storm Prediction Center does. They just kind of do everything in general, and heavy rainfall. And so what they're saying here is this brighter shade is a slight risk, and just interpret this the same way you would a slight risk of severe weather. It says there's a fairly good chance in our southern part of our viewing area from Thursday at 8 a.m. to Friday at 8 a.m. that we may see excessive rainfall. Okay, what's excessive rainfall? Excessive rainfall is enough to cause standing water. It's enough to cause some small streams to go up, maybe that little creek that runs through your backyard to flow bank full. But so overall, excessive rainfall is exactly what it sounds like. It's just enough rainfall to cause some high water issues during a short duration. We're not talking about system-wide. We're not talking about everybody down here having flooding rains. We're just talking about some minor flooding and short duration, more localized stuff. Okay, so that's 8 a.m. Thursday to 8 a.m. Friday. Then we go from 8 a.m. Friday, 8 a.m. Saturday, everybody under a marginal risk, so not quite as high as it is tomorrow. 8 a.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. Sunday, everybody back into a slight risk, and we're kind of in the center of a big area there, so a better chance Saturday into Sunday morning of getting excessive rainfall, and then Sunday into Monday morning, still in that slight risk and near the center of it. And so this all adds up to the Weather Prediction Center saying there's a very good chance that we'll have more rainfall than some of the small creeks and that can handle right away. We're not talking about massive flash flooding, or we're not talking about anything like what happened down in Texas. We're just talking about high water, maybe some of those rural roads where they dip down near a creek and there's no bridge that might be running with water. So those, the way I like to say it is, you know all the ups and downs in your neck of the woods better than I do. And so if you know of a spot that typically gets has water in it when rain comes down pretty heavily, that may be the case as we head through the weekend. Okay, so how much rain are we going to get here? And the European model and this one is the American model. It's saying most of us will get more than 2 inches of rainfall. Some will get close to 3 or a little bit more than 3 inches of rain. Okay, now that's from today, that's from now, all the way into Monday. And so 3 inches of rain in that stretch of time isn't that much. However, it's not going to fall evenly through that time period. What's going to happen, some of these rainfall totals will come down in one big fast thunderstorm. Okay, not a severe thunderstorm, just a torrential downpour. Okay, and so let's say, for example, if Batesville gets 3.2 inches, 3 inches of that could occur one afternoon, and the rest of the time not much at all. And so that's the issue we're worried about. Not so much how much rain falls, but how fast it falls. Okay, obviously, if you get 1/10 of an inch and it falls really fast, it's not a big deal. But so if you get 2.44 inches in a couple hours, it's a lot different than getting 2.44 inches between today and Monday. And it has the potential for dropping a lot of what you see there as far as the model totals go in one quick downpour. So that's why the Weather Prediction Center has us under that risk of excessive rainfall around the tri-state. And then overnight, there is a marginal risk of severe storms in the tri-state, but as I just showed you, we're pretty much done with it now. We do have to watch that little system coming in from northwestern Indiana, but all the models say it's going to die out. Okay, and then from 8 a.m. Thursday to 8 a.m. Friday, there's a marginal risk for most of the Fox 19 Now viewing area. You can see that there, so mostly a level 1. Then as we had from 8 a.m. Friday to 8 a.m. Saturday, it looks more like just rain. There's 0 chance, according to the Storm Prediction Center, of any kind of severe weather. Okay, so this evening, it's 86 right now at the International Airport. There are spots that are hotter. 77 by 11 p.m. And then overnight, guess what? Stopping in the low 70s. It'll be a muggy, muggy start to your day tomorrow. And I think we do have that chance of seeing some showers, as I showed you in the model. So most of the rain holds off till either late in or just after the morning commute. And most areas won't see rain, but there's the chance a few of us will encounter some rainfall in the morning. Okay, then for Thursday, look for a high of 86, right at normal. And we know the low temperature is going to be in the lower 70s, so it's warmer than normal. So if you average the high temperature we've got forecast tomorrow at 86, and the low temperature we've got about 70, that puts us a little bit warmer than normal for the day. Okay, and that's what a normal temperature is. The normal, you have the normal high, the normal low, the normal average, and they're all found by averaging the highs and lows. Okay, now the 7-day forecast looks like this. Notice every single one of those 7 days is going to be warm to hot and humid. The hottest day, Wednesday. Okay, so we have high temperatures mainly in the 80s with the last day in the 90s, morning lows in the 70s. Each day very humid. Each day the chance of some showers and thunderstorms. But remember, that doesn't mean every one of these days is going to be a complete washout. Most of those days will be just like today. There'll be clouds, some rain, the shower ends, the sun will come out, things like that. That's that typical summertime rainfall coming into the tri-state. So hot and humid weather coming our way. It gets hotter and more humid as we head toward Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday and Wednesday, both days, most areas should have heat index values peaking a little bit over 100 degrees, and they'll heat index values will climb as we head towards Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, then for the 24th through the 30th, almost to the end of the month, we've got heat index values starting on the 24th of 100, 102, 104, 100, and then we kind of drop back down to a heat index value that's kind of near normal, upper 80s around the tri-state. So we've got some scorchingly hot weather for a few days in the tri-state. Be mainly Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, along with Sunday. So that would give us a 6-day stretch when we could see heat index values above 100. And that would, in my book, qualify as a bit of a mini heat wave. So we do have some hot weather on the way. And now you know, and so now you can prepare for it. So yesterday when we looked at that yellow arrow that showed you where it was going to be very humid, extended all the way to the end. Now it stops on the 28th, and so I think the 28th is probably the last of the really humid days, and then it drops down to about normal humidity. Doesn't mean it's going to be like, oh my gosh, it feels so good out here. It means it'll still be humid like we have in Cincinnati all the time, but it's definitely not going to be the excessively humid weather that we do have coming. Okay, now with all the rebooting and all that stuff I had to do, I didn't get a chance to put the Climate Prediction Center's extended outlooks in here. We already saw the numbers that are involved with it when we went beyond the 7-day. Well, you see it right there. So let's see what the Climate Prediction Center says is going to happen here. Okay, the 6 to 10 day outlook is coming up here in just a couple seconds. It's got to load it. So it's trying to load it. There it is. Okay, so the 6 to 10 day outlook says that goes to the 26th of July. That right there is a little bullseye in Missouri, southern Illinois, southwest Indiana, western Kentucky, northwest Tennessee, and northeast Arkansas, where the hottest weather is going to be. And we're kind of on the edge of that, so we're going to be well warmer than normal. That bullseye gets a little bit bigger but backs off to the west a little bit. We still stay warmer than normal in the tri-state. There's no doubt about that. And then for the 3 to 4 week temperature outlook, this is the one that gets updated on Friday. They're keeping us warmer than normal. So it looks like the rule is going to be warmer than normal all the way out as we approach the middle of August. And I think I kind of agree with that. And again, this is a little heat wave, coming our way with a lot of humidity, so it's going to be stifling. There's no doubt about that. Your air conditioner is going to run nonstop for a while, and be extra careful. Remember that it's not enough to drink water. You've got to keep your blood sugar high enough, your electrolytes in balance, and of course, stay hydrated. And I'll give my little spiel again. I've been either a long distance runner or a bicycle rider, oh my gosh, since 1964. Right after the Tokyo Olympics is when I got inspired to become a distance runner. And you learn a lot about that. And the most important of the electrolytes when you're doing activities, now there are others that are important too, but these are the ones that you need to replenish constantly as you're taking part in the exercise. And it doesn't have to be exercise or running or anything. It can just be working outside in construction. Anybody that's outside in this heat. The most important, sodium, chloride, and potassium. Okay, now there's magnesium, there's calcium, there's phosphorus, a bunch of others. But if you're outside working, you have to pay particular attention to sodium, chloride, and potassium. And here's the best news I have. I love potato chips. Sodium and chloride together make salt. So anything you eat with salt in it will replenish the sodium and the chloride. In addition, because there's such a high level of potassium in potatoes, if you eat potato chips, you're getting the sodium chloride and you're getting the potassium. So a nice way to help, and you can't just eat potato chips. I mean, you've got to make sure you have fluids with it. A good way to keep those three electrolytes at proper levels is by snacking on something that has sodium, chloride, and potassium. Potatoes have potassium. Salt has sodium and chloride. Another great source of potassium is orange juice, not Fanta or the sugary drink. I mean, real orange juice has a lot of potassium in it. And that's a good thing. And as a matter of fact, when I go on long bike rides, I mix my own drink. I put half water, half orange juice, and I put some other electrolytes from a powder in it, and that works out pretty well. Okay, so that's it. I'm done lecturing on that. All right, now as far as moisture goes, they have us for the 6 to 10 day outlook going to near normal. Okay, now look at that tongue of dry weather just to the west. It kind of worries me. Okay, the tongue of dry weather stays out to the west, so we stay near normal through the 30th, and through the last part of that, the 3 to 4 week outlook, we're near normal precipitation. So here's that 7-day forecast again. Upper 80s through Tuesday, then to 90. Heat index steadily rises. Morning lows in the 70s, so things don't cool off. And each day, we are talking about the chance of showers and thunderstorms in the tri-state, especially Saturday morning, Sunday morning, into Monday morning. Those are the days when we could have some heavy rain and we could have some flooding issues, but we're not expecting any big outbreak of severe weather. Heat index values, once we get past this rainy patch, in the hundreds on Tuesday and Wednesday in many locations, and then in most locations for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that would give us a 6-day heat wave with those heat index values high enough to make sure you're extra cautious when you're outside, especially if you have some kind of an ailment. If you have a respiratory ailment, a circulatory ailment, a heart ailment, be very, very careful out there. Okay, and then if you look at compared to normal, notice that, well, we've got 2 days, the 18th and the 19th, where it's just below normal. Everything else is normal or higher on the high side. All the low temperatures are normal or higher than normal, and the humidity stays high until we get to the 28th. And so as we head into August, we might get a little bit of a break from the humidity. All right, let me see. Excuse me. First of all, let me take a drink here. My voice is gone. All right, now let's pick up the right mouse, the correct mouse, which does happen to be the right mouse on the right side, and see what people are thinking here. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Susan Wally says, had a deluge of water today. Have a wonderful evening. I hope you needed it. A lot of places don't, but yeah, we didn't have a deluge. We just had we had enough rain to wet things down a little bit to keep the wildflowers happy. But good, yeah. And unfortunately, Susan, you might have a few more. The only good thing about the heavier rain beginning to come into the tri-state at times is that it won't knock down the humidity, because once the rain stops and the temperature begins to climb, it's just steamier than ever. But for a little while, it'll knock down the temperature. This morning I was out walking two of our dogs. Oh my God, it was so muggy out there. And we didn't get home before some light rain began. And just enough to get you a little bit wet, but it felt so good. That cool rain hitting the skin really did the trick. Okay, so let me get back to Facebook here. John Esper says, good evening, watching from Columbus. We just got done having 2 thunderstorms up here back to back. And we had some here earlier, but all the stuff that was like to our south and west has moved north and east. And it'll settle down, John, overnight. And thanks for watching from Columbus. Melvin, it's not going to rain all day tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I think tomorrow we will start seeing showers redevelop late in the morning commute. And then there will be spots where there's rain possible throughout the day, but it'll be an off and on kind of thing. But rain will at least threaten all day long. Okay? So, Dan, I am tech savvy. It's just every once in a while technology conspires against you. We just had some issue. Computer wouldn't do anything, so I had to reboot it. Okay, Audra Cataldo Triana. When does my retirement start? Audrey wants to know. The last day of work is the 28th of August. That's a Thursday. Okay, so that is my last day. Although I've told the company that I'd be glad to fill in on times when they need extra people, and that comes like around Christmas and New Year's. So I told them once I retire, once we get to the Christmas season, I'll be glad to fill in to help them out, but I don't want to do it until then, because gosh, I need some time off. Ramona Black-Reiner, I guess you don't live in Cincinnati anymore. She's the only one, I'm the only one she listened to when she lived in Cincinnati 15 years ago. Well, thank you, Ramona. Yeah, John Esper just mentioned, he mentioned that they had 2 thunderstorms in Columbus and that the temperature dropped to 78. And that's pretty typical. And it's precipitation cooling. And for those of you that don't quite get what happens, the cool air you feel rushing out of a thunderstorm, that's all because of evaporation. So you've got all the raindrops up here. They're not big enough to fall through the updraft. Eventually, either the updraft weakens or the raindrops grow big enough that the gravity can pull them downward. As they come down, the turbulent atmosphere breaks some up and some evaporate. But by evaporating, those water drops cool the air. Okay, so the air that comes down, that's being pushed down by the raindrops, flows out of the thunderstorm, is cooler, and 78 was the dew point at that time, and the air can't cool any more than the dew point. So that air sometimes, I mean, I've been in thunderstorms where it's cooled from like 90 down to 72 or so, and then bounces right back up. As a matter of fact, years ago, my wife and I were down along the Rio Napo in Ecuador, and that is, Ecuador is in the western part of South America, right on the equator, and we were in the jungle part of it, on the east side of the Andes Mountains, and we were 2,000 feet from the 2,000 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, but only 160 feet high. That's how flat it is down there. And the Rio Napo flows eventually into the Amazon. And the temperature was 96, this is dry season, but they still have occasional thunderstorms. 96 degrees as the thunderstorm came through and rained on us, and it was torrential rainfall. It cooled into the 70s, and then as soon as the sun came back up, it was steamy and sticky and cooled right back up, or warmed right back up into the 90s. And that's pretty typical. Because even though that air is coming out of that thunderstorm cooler because of the evaporation, all the air surrounding that thunderstorm is still warm. So once that thunderstorm moves on and that cooler air's moved on, the warmer air just reinvades and you warm up just like that. So Tom Timing on rain Saturday. It could be any time on Saturday, okay? There could be some showers and thunderstorms overnight and in the morning, and then more during the day as the storms pick up. Ricky McBride wants to know, how's it going, Chief? I haven't watched your live streams in a while. Going pretty well, Ricky. Thank you for asking. This is the 16th of the month, so I've got 28 days to work in August and like 14 more or 15 more now. So I've got like 43 days left before I retire. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to walking my dogs, riding my bike, taking some photographs, and taking care of that honey-do list, which has been building up for 30 years. Nobody, don't know who the new chief's going to be yet, Ricky. So, and as soon as they know, they'll announce that. So, but and now that I'm leaving the company, I'm kind of not so much on the inside loop anymore with selecting people. So, and so that's expected and that's normal. Okay, well that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Stay cool out there. Get ready for even hotter, steamier weather as we head in and past the 7-day forecast. By Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, many areas will have that heat index up in the 100s. And I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be off on Friday, and Erin Ashley will be here taking my place. And she'll have the 7:15 weather show that's on Friday, but I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, thanks for joining me. That's it.